Approval of minutes and adoption of agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, do I have to do that now? All in favor?
Yeah.
Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
I guess I was just waiting for the motions. C, items requiring action. High School South Pool starting block, St. Luke's funding. We have two quotes. If it's Water and Corp, $31,947.20. Kiefer Aquatics for $26,577.28. Discussion, please. Denise, you wanna? Yeah, you're fine.
So if it's water quote is all inclusive, that's delivery, that's everything, they're coming out of downtown. If we get this approved, they'll come immediately to double check. The problem is gonna be just to make sure that the base that they have to go into is okay. I would like them to do the full installation and everything. This is probably a project that should have happened when the pool was redone. But it didn't know the pool was being redone, so we couldn't really put that in there. So I'd like to have a company to do it just so that nobody disturbs what's already been done. You know what I mean? There's no problems with it. So if it's water, would be the preferable bid. That does include everything. The quote here from Kiefer does not include the full installation. You'll notice it's drop ship. That there's nothing about them coming in and taking out the old and putting it in. So if it's water is definitely the preferable. But if you look, all exactly the same. The second page, everybody seems to get the blocks from Spectrum. There's really only one company that is the provider. It's probably more about the service, and this, if it's water, it's directly out of downtown, which is much, it's going to be a lot closer than Kiefer, which is in Bloomington. So that would be the preference. We have money in the savings account, and it is something that doesn't need to be done because of blocks. I'm not even sure. I have no idea what they are, but they are very good.
Okay, and we're definitely using St. Luke's funds.
You're saying we're going with if it's water and with everything's inclusive,
Yes, and they are a co-star vendor as well.
and they're a lot closer.
They're a co-star vendor.
Did they have an idea of installation time? I just want to make sure that there's no conflicting issues.
He said that, I told him when our first meeting was, it's the first week of December. And he said, if we get going, we could try to really push through, but it's usually 8 to 10 weeks. So we would be cutting it very close to the first week, but I also don't think it's something that would take us out of mission for a lengthy period.
So it's something they have in a warehouse now. We're not relying upon our East Coast ports.
That I don't know, but they'll be powder coated purple and have.
They'll be all right, yeah.
Don't we have a system in there now?
Excuse me?
Don't we have a system in there now, right?
We have a platform. If you look at the second page, there's a picture, the new style of block is flat and it has almost like a push off piece that comes up the back. We just have a flat component. If you ever stop that.
But I'm saying, does it still work?
Yes, and the surface on them is starting to degrade.
Yeah.
And some of them are
But
a
I'm saying
little
we
wobblier than they should be.
But if they don't get a year.
Yeah,
on
we
the
could
first
start
one,
the
we can still-
season with them, yes, we
Yeah.
could start the season with them, but it's definitely something
Yeah,
that
that's what, yeah.
needs to be taken care of.
And if
Thank
you
you.
look at, it's about a $1,900 difference when you factor in the installation. If you take out their installation, it's about $1,900 difference. But I would rather, because if they don't, if we get it through Kiefer, our people have to install it, or we have to get someone to install it, and then if something goes wrong, and if they put it in, they're gonna put it in, and they're gonna put it right, and they're gonna make it right
Mhm.
and be done with it. I won't mind spending an extra $1,800 to make sure we get it.
No, but the system we have now will work
Yeah,
until we get the system in, that's all.
I mean, I'm saying go with the
Yeah.
higher bidder. I'm okay with that because there is a difference in the price and getting service, so.
Okay, well, we'll see you in motion center.
Okay, I'll do that in motion. How about that?
All right, that was C1. C2, let's see, High School South Industrial gas washer and dryer St. Luke's funding. Pack Industries for 21,558 and 90 cents. I guess that's also the news.
So that is the industrial size washer and dryer, the new equipment manager positions that were approved in the advisory report. By any of you, if you come down to the stadium, you can see what Bob has done. Bob has been an equipment manager in the USFL college level, like he's got the system whipped into really nice shape. He just needs the ability to wash the items in something larger than
What we have now.
a home size washer and dryer.
Yeah.
You know,
So we need two of those, right? One for north, one for
yeah,
south.
that's the next item on your agenda is the north one. I think mine, Daryl can speak to this more, but mine is gonna be a gas dryer because we actually have gas down in the stadium and we run that. Norse is electric because they do not have gas.
Understood.
And Daryl met with the guy from PAC the other day to go over this. to make
Yeah,
sure.
PAC's the only ones that make this system, or?
It's the only one who has been willing to meet at the drop of a hat to
Oh, okay.
come in and work with us on finding a good place to put it.
There are others, but they're.
Now,
but
they're Harrisburg, and again, they have them in warehouse.
I
We
don't
don't
know,
know.
Daryl, what he's. what he would've told me.
Well, I
Because
spoke
think
with him
like 6
before the
weeks out.
strike, but yeah, it was like 4 to 6 weeks
Yeah,
out.
4 to 6.
I'm not exactly
could
sure where they
change.
come out of though.
Oh,
Yeah.
are they
The nice thing is there's.
I
a
think
big
they are.
appetite
I don't
for
think they're
actually
gonna-
fall under sports. We have about one week fall and then it's just
Mhm.
football.
Thanks,
continuing
guys.
on. Right now, the uniforms are still going to Riddell. So it's more of the, all the other teams' uniforms and football practice equipment, football uniforms are still going to Riddell. Because we don't have the means to.
Okay. And how are we doing up north with our,
Good, because Bob, we met with Chris and Chuck and Bob, and everything Bob has done, we've given to them. And they have been duplicating the same things.
okay, is that it? Any other discussion here, guys?
No,
I'm sorry.
no, thank you.
Next item is the removal of a relocatable building at the Bushville Elementary School.
Yep, this is the old, I think in the beginning, the early days, they used this as an extra, like a music room, I believe, originally. It's just dilapidated, it's rotted up, it's no good, it's not good, it's not even good for storage anymore, it needs to be removed. We have, some quotes here, and, Jason W. Possinger would appear is the cheapest quote for removal and cleanup.
Okay, and it looks like Jason Possinger has the low bid at 7,000, Rutledge came in at 9,860. And 1-800 got junk, too big of a job. So they chose not to bid. Any other questions? Next item. Corey Willis Trucking,
This is
snow removal bid.
We had that bid out, and based on the bids that we received. Corey had bid on the entire district and was in fact the low bidder.
How do we know who the low bidder is when it's by the hour?
Per machine, such amount of certain dollar amount per backhoe, for dump truck.
There's a spreadsheet.
I'm looking at the spreadsheet, but what I'm saying is, it just says per hour. I mean, this could be, there's no limit to, I mean. Other commercial properties, it's like, it's gonna be X amount of dollars to do your driveway. Per inch of snow, not per hour. I mean, this could, I hate to say this, like. This is like a blank check.
In a sense, a per plow quote would be astronomical. That could be redone. This is how we have always done it in the past.
We've always done it per
This-
hour,
Since I've been here, it's been like this, yeah.
with no maximum hours stated anywhere.
No. We only had a couple people bid on it. Keith.
I mean, like, you can't even pinpoint what a snowstorm is gonna cost.
Well, you could reference last year's, budget for the, cost that we, spent on the, storms that we had.
But he wants $5,000 a month retainer, right?
Correct, yes. And Keith, we do have our supervisors and people policing them, and we're out and about along with the plow guys. Plowing with and working with the equipment that we have to the best of our ability at the same time.
So what is the retainer for then?
That he will hold and then pull out of that as he works.
Is that standard for us to do that?
Well, in the past, I have not done that, no.
It's a guarantee on to us early in the morning,
There are times and stuff like in there that he has to go.
so we get it done on time and basis.
Can we do that? Can we pay a contractor ahead of time like that?
Peter has looked this over and yes. It would be like what do you say, like an open PO, I think, or something like that. You have with them that we would pull out of as the bills come in.
Where are you seeing, I can't see, I didn't see the 5,000. Where's the 5,000, George?
What page?
All I see is the hours.
It's in the writing. Report, it's. Where I find it.
Right here. They're requesting a 5,000 per month
Okay.
retainer paid from the beginning of November through the beginning of March. So basically, we pay him 5 and then he gives us an invoice and, what do we usually pay for a storm? In the past,
It varies, Wayne. It's always been
depending
an
on
hourly
the
rate.
house, how many inches. Alright,
So it's $25,000 ahead. Oh, each month,
Oh, 5,000 per month.
Yeah, so.
If we don't have to. But if we have a couple storms, that 5,000 can be eaten up pretty quick.
And then that $5,000 retainer is refundable if it's, I didn't see anything where it says it's refundable if there's nothing used. Cause a retainer is a retainer. The word retainer is. I
so
don't
what
know.
is the story there? Let's say we have
I don't
a,
like that word retainer.
so do we get it back?
I'm sorry.
The 5,000, if it's not, we get that back.
Set their rates, right?
I could get that answer for you.
It just says until the value of the service and invoices for the month exceeds the retainer amount.
What's the difference between service call and event?
If there's a known event that's coming. And they're geared up and prepared for it, they come plow it. But in the event, like say it snows an inch tonight up at north and nowhere else, and he has to be called in to go there to salt cinder or whatever, that's a service call.
Okay, because the machines are 3 hour minimum. Per service call, per event, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the price was per
Well, did
machine.
we get other bids from other contractors?
We did, one was disqualified for not being filled out properly, and then there was only one other bid besides that, the only bid on the north. This is the only bidder that bid on everything.
Okay, but in years past, we've had different contractors do different schools.
It's been all over, yeah. The last contract service, we had a contractor do the entire south. And then we had a separate contractor do the north.
Okay.
That was not necessarily by design, that was by bids received, what they bid on. The gentleman that did the south campus, not just the South High School, I'm referring to all the middle Smithfield, did not bid on the north campus.
Oh, is that Merlino?
Yeah, he did everything south and Aaron Fish did everything north. That those
Yeah,
were,
yeah,
they were our guys.
okay. All we have to do is ask Peter what we paid last year.
And then and the other thing that really bugs me, a 3 hour minimum? That's standard? I mean,
Not 3 hour minimum per location though, right?
No, not per location, and that would also. be
Per
for a
service call.
That would be for a
per
service.
service call, that means if
Is that
if
per
there's an
location?
issue, say at Smithfield, that we say, hey, look, we need you to come and redo Smithfield, something, we got. Just using Smithfield example, we need you to just come and do a quick run through the parking lot, it takes him an hour, and he's gonna charge us 3 hours.
I can tell you this, with me at the helm, if someone does a poor job at one of our buildings and I have to call them back to correct it, I'm
Oh, I'm not-
gonna pay them for $0.
No, I know, but this is a service call, not an event, so if we're calling back to handle an event. Then I would think that he would come back to handle.
Correct.
You know, this service call, I don't understand what a service call, I mean, I understand what you said it is, it just.
Refreeze, a squall somewhere, something like that, anything.
But a
that would-
refreeze would be part of the event, isn't it?
Um,
I mean, my guy at the church I manage, you know, that's part of the event. You know, it snows today and tonight it refreezes, that's part of today's snowstorm. So that's not part of that snowstorm, that would be then. I would like clarification on what a service call is versus an event, and what constitutes an event versus a service call.
let me get that for
Because
you.
that could be rather costly if you figure out, you know, do 4 service calls in a day. You're talking another couple $1,000s more.
And do we, the other question is, do we get billed for both the machine and for the man, 2 separate bills?
No, when you see a price that say, for example, $122 an hour for a skid steer loader, that's for that machine to be run, yes.
Yeah, but so what about the man?
Mm-mm.
'Cause
No,
the man
that's
hours
it.
will be billed at 3 hour minimum per man.
Man hours would be if they had to have people come shovel our sidewalks,
Oh, okay.
which I've never come.
That's why I asked that question, yeah.
Okay, any other comments?
Okay, so I just noticed on a request to return visit plowing when requested after 24 hours of storm completion. Will be subject to a possible charge by the hour with a 2 hour minimum. Which will possibly include travel time from our shop in Marshall's Creek. There's 1 hour right there. To go north. And then 2 hour minimal. I would like some clarification on that, because that, I mean. It's,
I can do that, Keith, if
I mean, if the rest of the committee's fine with it, I guess the rest of the committee's fine. I just,
I understand your concern.
we had people last couple years, what happened? No one wants to rebid on us?
they did. All the same people did. One was disqualified. For not, it wasn't proper, he didn't bid it properly.
Okay.
The other, and the other, so it was down to 2. One bidding on the North campus, one bidding.
Oh,
on
so,
everything.
okay, so it was 1 north, 1 south.
One north, one for everything.
And
We
this
had
gentleman
nothing
has,
percent.
with this company has, looking at all their customers that they service, they're able to properly cover our district along with the rest of their customers.
That's what he's stating.
His garage is the old Marshall's Creek Powerhouse.
And it is also
Behind,
in there. If he doesn't, we have the
behind
right to call in whoever we want.
General
All
store.
right. All right, well, I guess we'll,
So he's about a half hour from the North Campus.
right, so it's an hour round trip.
Yeah.
So it's an hour on top of the 2 hour minimum, so it's a 3 hour charge. All right, plus, yeah, okay.
Now, Keith, also, on these sites, he'll have equipment staged there, like wheel loaders and things like that, that they'll be running.
Right.
During the events, it's not like every time he goes up there, he's gonna, he'll have guys basically report to work there. And run that loader throughout the event.
Yes, we'll see.
It's the only
I don't
option,
know,
right?
climate change, I don't get the winters I used to have. I
Yeah,
didn't
but
know
now
so.
they're giving a cushion with a 3-hour minimum. They're making up for climate change. All right, well.
Reports, Lyman and Nash. I haven't had any contact with Lyman and Nash in the past month at all. Any discussion on that?
Nope.
Current capital projects. Any discussion?
Do we have a status on what's happening at the auditorium at JTL?
That'd be Josh. I think he's on today.
Josh, can you
He's supposed to.
Hey, guys, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Ken-
We hear you.
Ken,
All right, great. So a couple weeks ago, I think it was the week of September 11th, we met with Mr. Toth and Daryl and a few other people at JTL. We have an updated proposed scope of work, which we can recirculate to everybody. We made some recommendations regarding light fixture quantities and types and what we would like to include. We just want to have you guys take one final look at that and also prepare for next month an estimated budget, just to make sure that it's in line with what the district's expectations are before we start the bid document process. So things are moving, and I think the only other thing maybe to coordinate with Daryl would be the seating, if that's going to be part of a bid process or if that's going to be a state contract type of replacement for any seating items.
Okay.
How are we on the chairs, Daryl?
Excuse me?
Chairs, are we gonna? How are we doing the chairs? Are we,
Again, that's up to you guys. I had that all quoted out in the past and was told it had to go out to bid at BNF because of the dollar figure of the amount it was costing.
All right, so we need to give you a motion to go out to bid.
And where is that?
we have in the
JTL.
capital projections, we have $450,000 projected for the auditorium.
Is this in the 24-25 estimates?
25, 26,
Yeah,
Pardon?
25, 26.
I see it.
And that's the auditorium stage lighting and seating, 450,000. Is that what you're talking about?
Mhm.
Yep.
We have it in the budget.
So that means we're gonna go out to bid then.
I like to get it done. It's only taken years. By the time we get it done, we'll have to repaint the walls again. Which the walls look beautiful. Whoever painted the walls, I want to put on the record, the walls look beautiful. And they did a nice job. I think it was our people did that in-house. Our summer help.
Yep.
And they look beautiful.
Thank you.
Now we need, oh, were you a painter?
No, but those are my people's,
Well, they did a good job.
that's my summer painting crew.
They did a great job all over campus.
They do a good job all over. And the audit, and while we're on the subject of JTL, the office looks
Stadium.
amazing too. So, kudos.
Okay, so then basically, we'll make a motion at the end of the meeting to go out to bid for the lighting and seating. Is that what you're saying, Keith?
Well, we should at least.
So-
We,
what we need
I
to do.
brought this, Keith, we had all this with the lighting and the seating.
Well, that was a while back.
Based on the
so-
dollar amount that went to go out to bid to, and that hence in comes Josh. And I believe that's what Josh is talking about.
Yeah, but we don't, to buy chairs, I don't think we need to go to through Dewey to buy chairs, do we?
It's to put- Just no, not to bid it out, not at all. he is putting together the lighting. It was all part of the same package, so depending on how it's gonna go. I believe it will be all a part of the same project though, and it's the same bid.
So Josh, what is your projected timeframe for? I guess bid specs, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, so if we're cut loose to go ahead and do that, we would be looking at like a February bid timeframe and then a spring of 25 to summer install.
So now we're going another school year with no lights in that auditorium.
Yeah, that's what it sounded.
We're going,
Okay, we'll split them out.
I'm
Do one for the ladies.
Certainly, we could split them out.
We could do the lighting this year. During the school year.
It's just, I don't understand. I mean, why can we not, as a district, go out and put a bid out for stage lighting and chairs for an auditorium without having to put it through our engineering company? I mean, it's a stage equipment. You hire a stage designer to say, this is how much, I mean, no offense to Dewey. I mean, I'm sorry, the new name, I'm sorry, Josh. No offense to Josh, but you know, I don't think, do you have any theater people on your staff, Josh?
Yes, Keith, we do. I mean, our capability is not the issue here. It's just a matter of getting approved formally to go out to bid to do it.
The only reason I'm bringing it up is years ago, Terry Toth had 3 bids from 3 lighting companies, and we had bids from lighting companies that were going to supply us with the lights. And when I got off the board, it just went by the wayside. And that was a while ago.
So then why don't we just revisit that?
I mean, chairs, I don't think we need to, I mean, we just need to figure out how many chairs we need and then get them installed. Is that difficult? Can we do that, or do we have to have that installed?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm just saying, because this is now, we're now in October, and we're gonna talk about putting it to bid in February.
All right, so if we bypass the engineering, Harry Toth can provide us with updated quotes for the stage lighting. Is that what I'm hearing?
What, just
We
question.
can make that
yeah.
a motion and create the minutes. Is where I'm.
With your work, Josh, you weren't doing anything other than stage lighting, correct? Or are you doing different lighting in the room also?
Yeah, there was some work lights and some general house lighting involved. But Keith, here's the issue, and it's not just related to this project. It's been sort of an ongoing thing. You guys are going to get 3 quotes that have 3 different scopes of work based on what that vendor thinks they want to do, probably with different types of lights, different companies that may or may not be comparable. And you're going to come back to the board level and say, okay, we got 3 quotes. This guy quoted 24 lights. This guy quoted 20 lights. And it's the same situation that we find ourselves in all the time, that, you know, then it's kicked over to us to put out bid documents because you don't have equal scopes of work that are being proposed on. So, you know, that's why we are coming up with a design that everybody has the same scope of work to bid on. It's not just a proposal, it's an actual public bid. And then the board approves the bid. But, and I'm sorry if I sound frustrated, but we've been through this many times where you get quotes that are not comparable, and ultimately it goes out to bid, you know, through us, which we're happy to do. We have the capability, we have the expertise to do it. We just, you know, need to know, are we cut loose to bid this out or not? I mean, we're ready to go.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about when we redid the TV studios. We gave the company what we wanted. We got two bids. We went with the lower bidder and we got both studios handled. That had lighting, that had cameras, that had it was a whole gamut of things. I'm just trying to get this done. It's just been way too long. And it has to be finished. Because the time we took the time we just spent wasting time on this, it probably went triple in price already. You know, the lights, although we would have gotten non-LEDs when we started looking, so now at least we'll get LEDs now, so for the stage, so that would be better. Technology's a little better since when we were last looking. But I don't know. I don't know if it's quicker to do.
Keith, I could see the point of maybe just getting quotes if we're talking about a $50,000 project. I mean, we're talking about a $500,000 project that, unless you're going through a public bid process, I think would be a little bit tough to defend going with, I'm assuming it would have to be on a state contract type vehicle in order to get approved. I mean, you can't just go to some company who doesn't even do state contract work or public bid and say, give me a quote for lights. Anything over 25,000 has to have a process of being implemented. So I hear what you're saying, but we're talking about a pretty major financial investment here that we just want to make sure is documented and bid equally and correctly.
All right, so so what you're saying is that in February, we'll have something in writing. When will the board have something to review? I guess that's the question.
So that's when I would say we would have the bids for the scope of work.
Scope of work.
But we know what the scope of work is right now, yes, no?
We have it written down as far as what we discussed with Mr. Toth and Daryl on site and what our recommendations for the scope of work are. I can, send that to whomever else needs to see it. If it's extending beyond the facilities department, that's totally fine. I just want to make sure that you guys have reviewed that and are good with the systems, the type of lights being proposed that we agreed to on site.
So we have a general idea of what we're looking for based upon
Yes,
site visit that occurred a while back. Right?
that's correct. We have a written list of systems, lights, everything that we're proposing to be replaced and what they would be. Yes.
Okay.
That you and Mr. Toth agreed upon so that we can do the spec.
That's correct. Yep.
My question is, you mentioned 500,000 and we have on our capital 450, which includes seating.
Right. And so, Daryl, I mean, what were the quotes that you received for seating alone a couple months ago?
Near six figures. They're over. I have them in my office. I didn't bring them with me, Josh, but I can produce it.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember seeing those months ago.
I had them at PNF.
Low six figures or high six figures? I mean, that's a difference of a lot of money.
I don't want to misspeak, Keith, but I do have the quotes.
All right.
The question is basically two different quotes, so isn't it? One for seating and one for the lighting. Mr. Toth gave you what we need for the lighting, and then we just need to count the number of seats for the seating, right?
Correct.
So the priority is the lighting because that's an issue for the stage, yes or no?
Correct. They're renting lights every show they do there. We're spending money every time they do a production there that's bigger than and the concerts. The problem right now, Wayne, is that I was just talking to Mr. Toth. The lights are half the lights are inoperable now. So when they do a chorus concert, there's a threat that they can even have no stage lights available for them. They're that they're that outdated. And they're out of order. A lot of the stage sites and all that stuff, so.
So should it be two different quotes?
I don't.
I think it's all gonna be,
Yeah.
I think it'll all be applied to the same project as far as the state sees it.
What?
I think it'll all be one project as far as the state, it'll be seating, it's the auditorium project. I believe it'll all be roped in together. Unless you did
Why would
like,
it be-
unless
why
you did
would
a
it be-
portion.
Doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to be, no, then,
So why would it be one project? If one's lighting and one's seating.
So. If we just focus on the lighting. Can we get something before February?
We will try, Wayne, we will try. This is a busy bidding season, so we will try to improve that as best we can.
Okay,
The only connection between the two would be for any aisle lighting, if there are any electric connections or whips, lights that need to be factored into the seating arrangement, that would be the only consideration, but it's, minor in the grand scheme of things.
Okay.
all right, thank you. On the capital projects. I'm going through the 2024-2025 columns. We have the North Campus generator. I know that we approved it as the board. What's the status of that?
All right, so do we have the PowerPoint queued up for the IT department back there, maybe?
Oh, that's the other thing. It's incredible. That's the one.
Let me know if you guys have the visuals or anything up.
Yep.
What are we jumping to?
There's a slide that says East Stroudsburg Area Schools are October 2nd. CHA.
Yeah, okay, so I just grouped in a bunch of the projects together for an update, so I guess if the sequence doesn't really matter, I can just go through the slides now.
Okay,
Can you control and we have to control one another?
The technology department who's in the meeting is going to have to advance the slides for me, so just let me know which one you guys see at this point.
It's been phase 2.
yeah,
Okay, so thanks. So the first couple slides are related to the stormwater replacement up north. As Daryl can attest, of course, there have been some existing conditions up there that have been resulting in some extra work, some additional time. The first photo that you guys see is the result of a prior repair attempt at one point, I think going back at least 10 years, with some concrete that had been tried to be poured around the pipe after it was found to be not connected properly. So Rutledge did find that they had to peck through there for a couple days to get rid of that concrete. That stretch in particular by the Lehman Library is very deep. It's about 17 feet deep, and it was pretty lengthy process to get that underway. They have since moved over to the parking lot side of things, which if you advance to the next slide, if you see a slide of a worker holding a level, basically what we're showing there is that the existing piping had very, very little coverage between the top of the pipe to the surface level. So what we ended up doing is adjusting to a smaller diameter pipe for about 100 feet, 150 feet to provide adequate coverage above the pipe for the parking lot and the curb. Basically the existing condition was that the pipe was just below surface of the parking lot, obviously, which is not good. So a couple other things that just came about this week. They encountered a couple other pipes that were tying in to piping sections that were unaccounted for when that connection was made Basically, the pipe originally just had a big hole cut in it with a new pipe shoved in it without being correctly sealed or connected. So Rutledge is actually dropping in a new inlet box that would make a proper connection with 3 different pipes. So, field conditions like we encountered in phase 1 that have held up work a little bit have been a problem with both time and cost. But nevertheless, Rutledge, they continue to push ahead. They've been very good to work with both summers, and I'm sure they'll be wrapping up that parking lot side of things as quickly as they can for you. The next slide would be going back to the generator. If you guys want to flip to the next slide. So basically what that is, again, this is the north site generator located at the water tower, which feeds some of the data rack or data equipment within the building up there. If you recall, we're going with the propane option generator. So Albarell Electric was supposed to have the replacement generator in stock in the middle of September. As usual, there have been some supply chain delays, so they do still anticipate getting that generator within the next couple weeks. In the meantime, we've been in touch with Sharp Energy, who is going to be installing their 1,000-gallon above grade propane tank, so that we can get that infrastructure connected, so that once that new generator shows up, we can get the propane infrastructure hooked up to it right away. So at this point, basically just waiting for that generator to arrive so that Albarell can get up there and start the installation process. We will make sure that there's redundancy. In other words, they're not going to remove the old generator before the new one is ready to go. So, there will be consistent backup power for that building throughout the process.
Yeah.
Next slide is the South Fieldhouse equipment replacement. So again, that equipment includes both the heating boilers as well as the domestic water boiler. Similar to the generator, Scranton Electric is just waiting for the delivery of certain components. We've got pumps, we've got mixing valves. They did receive the boilers, but there are a couple other components that are still on order that they are waiting to receive, and then we can get that process scheduled. Obviously, we don't want to impact the use of that building during the year, so we just want to make sure that as the equipment comes, that we can stage it properly so that the switch over from old to new is as seamless as possible. And then the last two have to do with the ongoing wall issues up at High School North. Each one basically related to the HVAC, or I should say natatorium. One is that wall condensation issue, which we have come up with a final design for that. We have gone through probably 4 or 5 different iterations of a reconstructed wall assembly up there. The difficulty is that we don't know exactly what the performance is of some of the existing components within that assembly. And it got to the point where we just could not make an assumption that the components are continuous, that they're working. So basically at this point, we are recommending the complete removal of the metal stud cavity, which is behind the masonry wall construction. So at the top of the natatorium in the seating area is concrete block, CMU. Behind that, there were components that were supposed to act as vapor barriers that would prevent air and moisture from the natatorium to get into the wall cavity. We don't know the condition of those components, if they're continuous, if they're even there, if they're there done properly. So basically, in order to kind of start over, we're working from the outside in taking off the metal, taking out the metal studs and the sheathing behind them and coming up with a new vapor membrane that will allow moisture to pass through that wall and actually condense if needed on the outboard side of new insulation that we're proposing, which will be collected at the bottom of the wall with new through wall flashing and directed out of the wall. So we're basically creating a new drainage wall because we really just cannot trust the components that are there existing. Munn Roofing has confirmed now that the summer window is over for their roof installations that they do have manpower available. So with these details, they are going to get started on this within the next few weeks and get this condensation issue addressed once and for all. So that's what's happening on the exterior side of the wall. You may remember that there's also above the corridor ceiling in this location, there's also some air infiltration that is happening from below getting up into the cavity. So we've got another company who specializes in spray foam insulation, which is acoustical spray insulators. They're located in Allentown, who are going to help close up all the gaps that are located in the plenum space above the ceiling below there. So we're addressing both air infiltration from below and also any potential moisture that may be coming through the inside of the natatorium wall. So that's a lengthy explanation, but I got to tell you guys, it has been a process trying to get this thing squared away properly. And I know it's a hot topic. I know it's been, a thorn in all of our sides, but I think we finally have a good solution to recreate that entire wall. And that process will be starting within the next couple weeks.
And
Josh?
what's the cost?
I don't think he knows that.
Don't know that yet because it's somewhat based on the condition of the block behind what we're removing. In other words, if we need to create a completely flat plane behind the studs, if for some reason there are steel beams or steel columns that are impacting how we can apply this barrier, that's going to impact cost. I can send Daryl an order of magnitude as soon as I have that from Munn Roofing, assuming that we don't have any really bad unforeseen conditions. But unfortunately, at this point tonight, I don't have that final number for you.
No idea, huh?
I would estimate in the range of $50,000 to $60,000 if I had to give you a rough estimate. But again, I'd have to, talk through some final details with the contractor and with Garland Roofing, who's providing the metal panel system, in order to confirm that. But as soon as I know, I will pass along that information.
Okay, and then Josh, that existing rectangular opening in the exterior wall, that's simply for access.
Yes. So, yep.
Right.
And actually, that's the next slide. If you guys want to just flip to that final slide. So for anybody who maybe hasn't been up there and seen that opening, so the photo on the left, the exterior brick, just outlined in red, the location of where we had to cut a new opening in that mezzanine wall to get equipment in and out. The photo on the right is the condition looking from the inside out. And we now have structural details confirmed with that existing wall construction of how to brace the remainder of the brick. In fact, I believe we're taking the rest of the brick away so that we can properly reconstruct the opening. So that, again, I will send that cost over to Daryl once it's received from D&M Construction. They're working actually as a subcontractor through ASL Mechanical, who was the HVAC contractor. So as soon as we have that cost, I'll send that through. That, again, they do have forces available to start that work this fall yet, so that we're not going through another deep winter with having any temporary insulation or anything up there.
I have a question. Is this all based on, this all from original construction of the building that this has been going on for how many years? And this is from original construction, this issue?
The condensation issue is, Keith, the issue that we have with the mezzanine is they must have built the final walls once the equipment was in place, because there was no way to get equipment in or out of that mezzanine. Even with the set of double doors that were left open above the filter room, they simply just weren't big enough to get equipment in and out of that space. So unfortunately, this was needed. And what we're doing is we're going to infill with metal studs and metal panels to make an easier disassembly should it need to happen again, in another 20 years when equipment needs to be replaced or whatever might happen with getting things in and out. Instead of having block and brick that needs to be cut out, we're going to do a metal stud infill that's more easily disassembled for future access.
Okay. So basically, between this and the stormwater maintenance, it's all original issues that we've all said for how many years? Larry, how many years,
45.
Larry?
25.
20 plus, yeah. It's crazy.
All right, let's see.
So for the record, this is just,
We got great oversight on the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Great. Great being through.
Hey, I recognize the sarcasm.
right, no public comment, Larry. I don't even. All right, thanks.
All right, so we're in the middle of replacing the remaining water fountains? Or is that completed?
The bottle,
That's probably not it, Josh.
no, you're talking about the bottle filling stations?
I guess, water
Yeah,
fountain.
we are currently installing them. We're still installing them. I have a
Okay,
guy on that every night.
and the stadium stall, I'm just going through my list here. Stadium stall walls, that's been done, right?
That's old, that's last,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have a question about that one. In the stadium men's room, is there a way of getting walls between the urinals? Like those little walls between the urinals?
I could look into it as long as there's space. We could certainly do something like that.
I
That's
just
good.
think with the money we spent there, we should have had those. It's a standard thing in most men's rooms now. Especially with the urinals we went with, they're the urinals, the old style. I just a personal preference. I think they should be there because most people,
agree.
I don't think a lot of people use those urinals for that reason.
We can look into that. No problem.
Agreed.
It'd be like five little walls in between the stall, in between the. I don't think it should be that much,
It's not a big deal now.
but the bathroom, again, the
They
bathrooms
look
look
great.
nice. They look great. Thank you. And from what I heard from my lady friends, they're so excited to see real doors on their bathroom stalls now.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any comments, so,
The pulse of the people is in. They like it.
yeah. So, you don't want to go to Jay Bernie Crumb because that's.
No, oh, I was just
That's an
there.
open regarding Trump.
Yes, it
Try.
is. Yeah.
But that's an old structure,
It's a round, the round one. It's like a round, like a, yeah, like a,
like a cattle feed.
yeah.
All right, any other questions on capital, projects?
Nope.
Hearing none, current capital payments, any questions on that?
I did figure out, thanks to Diane, what some of the colors mean on that spreadsheet for you.
Okay,
The yellow is all the funds that were paid out of ESSERS,
yes, sirs.
and the blue, like light blue columns
Yep.
are, when we get payments from Josh from CHA, then they usually say this project cost this amount, so the blue, it just shows that it's just complete. That we paid all of the invoices to doing for a particular project.
Me?
Yep.
8 invoices. All right. Old business. I don't think we have any. I mean, what we do is we just went
We
through,
went
right?
through, yeah, I'm sorry, I went out of order.
No, it's okay. We took advantage of the slide presentation. We did the North Campus items for discussion. We did the North Campus stormwater discussion. We did the natatorium leak discussion. HVAC, are you still with us, Josh? Yes? No?
Yes, I'm still here.
So the HVAC, how are we making out with that? Is that near completion?
Yes, it is. Referring to the train contracts.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, the startups were all completed. I am aware that there were some concerns about some flashing at the base of some of the units at High School North and Lehman. So I'm following up with some questions regarding flashing around some of the curbs there. But I have not heard of any other operational issues. Daryl, correct me if you've heard anything, but I have not.
Just a couple punch list things other than that.
So one of the flashing issues was the HVAC unit above the coach's office.
And I know Garland was out and they do have a contractor coming in next week, from what I'm told today.
So that area still has a leak issue.
In the coach's office?
But I don't know. I mean, we haven't had any rain lately.
No, since they were up there, I don't know, but they were working on it and they do have and I'm told they have a contractor coming in next week, Josh, to
And the last issue was a water line that burst, right? Something like that.
that was a while ago.
Yeah.
Coil first.
Over the summer or something like that. Okay, so the HVAC for the North Campus is finishing up, correct?
Yes, correct. And also the Resica project. Yep.
And Resica. Cool. Chillers, they've been replaced. The one chiller at the North High School, is that still discharging extreme amounts of water?
Not to my knowledge.
So we saw that?
As far as that in the coaches area?
Well, the chiller in the back parking lot.
That's been for a while, though. hasn't it?
We don't have any work orders on that.
We resolved that issue?
Amy, do you know of any work orders for water coming out?
So the answer is yes.
As far as I know, look, no, I don't have any work
Okay.
orders.
So Daryl, I think what that issue was related to the cooling tower.
Yeah,
And I believe as part of the previous work that Train completed with the controls upgrades up there, if I remember correctly, they reprogrammed or resequenced the pump control so that the flow of water did not result in a pressure backup that would overflow the cooling tower. I'm pretty sure that's what Wayne is referring to.
Okay.
that sounds right.
All right. Then you.
So that issue's been, okay. Items for discussion, East Stroudsburg Elementary sprinkler system. I think previous discussion is we're gonna go out to bid in December, correct?
We will be going out to bid, Wayne, and I just wanted to confirm. I think we talked about it last month or so, or maybe the month before, but I just want to be clear that we are replacing the entire system and not just the locations that were identified with, is it Keystone Fire, Daryl, if I remember, who was doing the updates with Chief Mill
Yes,
or Billy?
Billy.
Yeah, I think it's in our best interest to do the entire. Yeah.
Okay, and again, the only reason I was saying that is because I'm fairly certain that the settlement amount is going to be less than the replacement amount, and that, you know, the district wasn't expecting a one-to-one cost of that project.
We're aware of that.
Okay.
Okay. Items for discussion, we discussed the boilers. At the football stadium. Public participation. Larry Diamond. Do we have anyone zooming, Amy?
Not that I know. Vanville, is there anyone on?
Josh?
Other than Josh? No?
Okay, no public participation. Advisory recommendation for consideration by the Board of Education. I guess we're going to motions, guys. Okay, let's see. Give me a second. Okay, there is a motion to do the South Pool starting blocks. To accept the proposal for If It's Water Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to accept the proposal from PAC Industries for the gas washer and dryer for the south, electric washer dryer for the north, using St. Luke's funding.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to remove the relocatable building at Bushkill Elementary School up at the North Campus. The low bid was Jason Ossinger for $7,000.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to accept Corey Willis Trucking for the snow removal bid. Per the attachment.
Have some questions on that.
You want to hold off until?
Well, I don't know, can we?
Of course we
It's
can.
snowing a month.
Next week.
We could get snow in October, but
That's what I'm saying. It could snow right now. I mean, we don't have a
we
contract right now.
can do a recommendation.
We can move
and then
forward and-
make it contingent on
When
the
contingent on those questions.
finance committee receiving the.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
How's
Let's
that?
do that.
Sounds good.
All right, so Amy, we're gonna amend the motion to the property facilities will provide a recommendation with follow-up clarification from the finance committee on the
Can you
unopened
that-
questions.
get that clarification for financing?
When is
We
the
should
finance
be able
meeting?
to, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a phone.
it's next week, I think.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's next
And
week.
then the following week is, yeah, they.
Columbus.
Now, whether the meeting is.
Finance is
21st
on-
Of October.
Right, yeah.
Oh, so there's a 2-week wall.
I think finance is on Columbus.
Next week,
Wait, yeah.
and then,
And then we have a break because of the holiday.
And then, yeah, 2 weeks from.
We took off for the holiday for the school, our school board. meeting.
Well, we're off, right? No?
No, we're not.
we're not,
No, we're
maybe
not.
it's in October.
Oh, so then we would have that meeting on 14th.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
Yeah,
finance.
No,
on
we're
the
not. It's scheduled for the 21st, man.
Is
That's-
it?
Yeah,
That's the board meetings, 21st.
Okay.
the third is the 21st.
Oh,
Our
okay.
third Monday is the 21st. We're good. I mean, that's where the calendar fell.
All right, so that was the motion, we have a motion.
Oh, it's second, did someone second it? I'll
Second, I'll second it.
Jason will second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye,
I'm still voting no.
that's cool.
Aye.
George? 3-1.
you want,
Want me to do a motion for the JT?
Well, we can get the ball rolling, and then. I guess, I mean, what's? It's another month.
Let's get it back.
I really don't know what to do with this.
So have no motion, or do you want a motion to create the minutes
Well, let's-
to focus on
I thought we were gonna do-
getting
I thought we were
quotes
gonna do
for,
The seating and the lighting. separately.
Yeah.
Well, we can do that. Focus on the stage and then,
The lights.
because the stage lighting impacts the back room. Yeah,
Yeah.
control, is that the control guy?
What does this have, if we approve it to go out to bid, does that have to go to finance too, before? You have to approve it also to put out the bid?
Mhm.
Alright, so let's approve it
Do it
contingent on finance and, yeah. And then I'll, yeah, thanks.
Amy, are you comfortable with that motion?
Would you separate?
You don't want to
this
wait
from
till
one?
November.
We'll be clear
You don't wanna
enough
wait
is
till
what I'm
November.
saying.
I don't wanna wait
Put it
till
up.
November, but I wanna, it will give us. time
Okay,
to
so
think
we have a motion
For two, two
To
separate.
break it
to go
up.
out to bid
do the light-
for the stage lighting only.
Correct.
for-
So moved.
Just
I mean-
just the lighting and not the seating?
Right,
You,
Well,
well, they're two separate items.
I understand that. I mean, we had 3 bids on the seating and we turned it down. That was, correct me if I'm wrong, that was about 4 months ago?
April,
I gave them the.
around April, yeah.
Oh, right there, yeah, yeah, so-
Okay, so that was under the previous administration leadership,
Disappeared.
when a different period in time, so to say.
Yep.
All right, how long were your bids good for? Your chair bids good for?
Oh, they're expired, but, I think it says right on here, 30 days.
Okay.
Weston, this is no good.
So, but it wouldn't be. we can take care of it.
All right, so,
Updated. Worst case scenario, we can put it on the budget for 25, 26.
okay. Let's go for the lights for now, I guess.
Yeah. Fix the problem.
Okay,
So we're just gonna put out for bid lighting and sound?
no, sound is already
Sound is
done.
done.
Sound is good.
Sound is
Okay,
perfect.
Just lighting.
The lighting.
I'm very happy with the sound. They
Okay,
just they can hear, they just can't see.
okay.
So, so we have a motion,
Second it.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
That will go on to finance next week.
yes,
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
she communicates with Mr. Peter Lard. Bard.
All right.
Don't kill me like that.
We'll let him know you said everything.
It's on the record, he can watch.
Minutes.
It's in the minutes, in the verbal minutes.
Slow down. Aye. Motion to adjourn,
So move.
Second.
all in favor, aye?
Aye. Yeah, finance is on Columbus Day.
Oh, they're meeting
That
on a
was in the-
holiday?